Welcome back, English learners. My name is Marco, and I am joined by...
Erica.
How are you, Erica?
I'm doing great, Marco. And you?
Excellent. I'm doing really well, and I'm really excited about our lesson for today.
That's right. We've got an intermediate lesson today, and we're going to study some real English.
English that you use every day, right?
That's right. English that native speakers really use.
Exactly. And today, as Erica mentioned, we have an intermediate lesson. And not only is it intermediate, but it's a business lesson.
Yeah. So today we're listening in to a sales meeting, and we're going to learn some great useful English to talk about sales strategies. So we're going to learn English for sales strategies, for making suggestions, and for responding to suggestions.
Great. So why don't we take a look at our vocabulary preview for today?
Vocabulary preview.
So our vocabulary preview is a part of our lesson when we teach you some really important words that will help you to understand the dialogue better.
Okay, great. So that is what vocabulary preview is. We have 2 words for you today, and we can start off by looking at the first one.
Our first word today is drive sales.
Drive sales.
Drive sales.
To drive sales, and that means?
To increase sales.
Right, to sell more.
Exactly. So to drive sales.
Okay, so now let's look at our second word, and it's an interesting one. It's promotion.
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 So Erica, what is a promotion exactly?
Okay, so here we're not really talking about getting a better job, right?
Okay, yeah, not like a job promotion.
No, we're talking about a marketing strategy.
Okay, so I can give you an example. Suppose that I want to buy shampoo.
Uh-huh.
And if I go to the supermarket and I see buy one and get one free.
So that's a 2-for-1.
That's a 2-for-1 promotion.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
That's a sales promotion. Or
perhaps the shampoo in the supermarket is less expensive than usual.
Okay.
Usually maybe it costs $5, but today it costs $4. That's a sales promotion.
Great. So that's a really good marketing strategy.
Exactly. And we'll hear this word in our dialogue today.
Great. So we are ready to listen to our dialogue. It's going to be pretty fast, so it might be a little bit difficult to understand.
But don't worry if you don't understand everything, because later in this lesson, we're going to explain all the important words and phrases.
All right, people, we're holding this meeting today because we've got to do something about our sales, and we need to do it now. I want concrete solutions. How do you plan to drive sales? Roger.
Well, in fact, we're the most expensive in the market, so maybe we need to lower our prices to match the competitors?
Lower our prices. Not very creative. It'll never fly with Swan. What kind of thinking is that? Jeez. Anyone have a better plan? Natalie.
Perhaps a promotion. Maybe a 2-for-1 offer or something like that.
What? That's the same thing. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Damn it, people, come on. Think. The CEO will be here any minute.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Oh, Mr. Swan.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Do we have any ideas yet?
Yes, Mr. Swan. We were kind of considering a 2-for-1 offer to get more competitive.
A 2-for-1 promotion. I kind of like the sound of that. It sounds like something we should consider.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was thinking. In fact, it's a brilliant idea. I'm glad we thought of that. Very creative.
Okay, so an interesting manager, right?
I don't know about interesting. Maybe I would think bad manager.
We're going to talk about him later on in the show. But now let's take a look at our language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, so language takeaway is the part of our lesson where we teach you the most important words from the dialogue. All these words that we are going to focus on can be found in today's dialogue.
Exactly. So we have 3 words for you today. Let's look at the first one. Match the competitors.
Match the competitors.
Match the competitors.
Match the competitors.
Great. So we have some examples for you so you can listen and try and see if you can figure out what match the competitors really means.
Example 1. We guarantee that we can match the competitor's lowest price. Example 2.
It's impossible for us to match the competitors. Our costs are just too high.
Example 3. Do you think we can match our competitors' prices and still keep our quality high?
Okay, so I see that match the competitors means to be as good as or better than other companies in the same industry.
Exactly. Match the competitors.
All right, so let's move to our second word today for language takeaways, and it is in the market.
In the market.
In the market.
In the market.
We heard this phrase in the dialogue, and it means in the industry.
Exactly. I can say, for example, English Pod is the best language pod in the market.
So, of all the podcasts that teach English, English Pod is the best.
Of course, no doubt about it.
I totally agree.
Right. Or I can give you another example. iPods are the most popular MP3 players in the market.
So, of all the MP3 players in the world, iPods are the most popular. So let's move to our final word for today, and it is...
It'll never fly.
It'll never fly.
It'll never fly.
It will never fly.
So this phrase sounds a little bit strange.
I know, fly? Are we talking about an airplane here? What's going on?
Exactly, but we're not. So we're going to give you some examples and try and guess what it'll never fly really means.
Example 1. This marketing plan will never fly. It's just too expensive. Example 2.
What? You want to sell bikinis in Alaska? That'll never fly.
Example 3. Brad told me his idea for a film script, but the story will never fly. It's not interesting enough.
So it means it won't work.
It won't work. It's not a good idea.
They'll never agree.
Exactly. Great, so now we've seen a lot of useful phrases and we are ready to listen to our dialogue a second time. But this time it's going to be slow.
So you'll be able to understand a little bit better and you'll be able to hear the words and phrases we were just talking about.
All right, people. We're holding this meeting today because we've got to do something about our sales. And we need to do it now. I want concrete solutions. How do you plan to drive sales, Roger?
Well, in fact, we're the most expensive in the market. So maybe we need to lower our prices to match the competitors.
Lower our prices. Not very creative. It'll never fly with Swan. What kind of thinking is that? Geez. Anybody else have a better plan? Natalie?
Perhaps, a promotion. Maybe a 2-for-1 offer or something like that.
What? That's the same thing. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Damn it, people, come on. Think. The CEO will be here any minute.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Oh, Mr. Swan.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Do we have any ideas yet?
Yes, Mr. Swan. We were kind of considering a 2-for-1 offer to get more competitive.
A 2-for-1 promotion. I kind of like the sound of that. It sounds like something we should consider.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was thinking. In fact, that's a brilliant idea. I'm glad we thought of that. Very creative.
Okay, great. I hope everyone understands a lot better now.
And I hope everyone could listen out for some of those key words.
Right, so now it's time for us to take a look at Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
So with Fluency Builder, we try to help you increase your fluency. We take a word or phrase that you already know and show you how to say it a little bit more naturally, a little bit more like a native English speaker.
Right, and we have 3 of these words for you today.
Yeah.
Let's start with the first one. Okay, so often students will say something like,
I'll be here soon.
or,
I will arrive soon.
right, and these sentences are correct.
They're totally fine, but I think there's a better way to say this.
Right, and we heard it in the dialogue, so let's listen to what the person in the dialogue said.
The CEO will be here any minute. The CEO will be here any minute.
Okay, so be here any minute. He'll be here any minute. It just sounds a little bit more natural.
Yeah, I think I use this phrase quite often. He'll be here any minute.
He'll be here soon.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let's move on to our second phrase for Fluency Builder.
So this phrase will help you to learn how to say I'm thinking about something in a better sounding way.
Right, so you can say something like, we are thinking about a sales strategy.
Or that sounds like something we should think about.
Right, and it's perfectly correct.
Yeah, there's no problem with this.
But in the dialogue, we heard something a little bit different, so let's listen to it.
It sounds like something we should consider. It sounds like something we should consider.
So consider sounds like a pretty natural way of saying it, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I think it sounds really kind of smart.
Yeah, it sounds more formal even.
A little
at
more
times.
professional.
Yeah. It's a good word.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So let's move on to our third word.
Marco, you already said our third word.
Oh, yeah, I actually did. Brilliant. That's a great word right there.
Yeah. A lot of people might say, that's a great idea, or great. But in the dialogue, we heard another way of saying the same idea.
That's a brilliant idea. That's a brilliant idea.
Okay, so this is great, but I would have to say that it's a little bit more British English.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, but I also think it sort of gives more power to this idea that it's a good idea, brilliant idea.
And it's a really, really good idea.
Yeah.
I like that word.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're ready to listen to our dialogue again a third time, but at its normal speed.
All right, people, we're holding this meeting today because we've got to do something about our sales, and we need to do it now. I want concrete solutions. How do you plan to drive sales? Roger.
Well, in fact, we're the most expensive in the market, so maybe we need to lower our prices to match the competitors?
Lower our prices. Not very creative. It'll never fly with Swan. What kind of thinking is that? Jeez. Anyone have a better plan? Natalie.
Perhaps a promotion. Maybe a 2-for-1 offer or something like that.
What? It's the same thing. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Damn it, people, come on. Think. The CEO will be here any minute.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Oh, Mr. Swan.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Do we have any ideas yet?
Yes, Mr. Swan, we were kind of considering a 2-for-1 offer to get more competitive.
A 2-for-1 promotion. I kind of like the sound of that. It sounds like something we should consider.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was thinking. In fact, it's a brilliant idea. I'm glad we thought of that. Very creative.
All right, so listening to this dialogue makes you think about this boss. I'm pretty sure everyone has had a manager or a supervisor that's similar to this guy.
Yeah, this boss, Clark, I would have to say he sounds like a terrible person to work for.
Yeah, that's true. If you're a manager, you want to motivate your employees.
I think it's the most important thing a manager does is to encourage his or her employees and to help support them to grow and to be better people in the job. And this guy is totally not doing this.
And you can tell because they are a little bit scared of talking, and he cuts them off with saying, oh, it's a bad idea, give me a better idea, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I could never work for a guy like this. You know, my first boss that I had when I first entered the workforce, course. I was in a very junior position and I was working for a large company, and the general manager of the company, he was amazing. He was so encouraging. He knew every single employee's name, first name, and he would, make an effort to stop and say hello and ask them how things were going. And you know what? This left me with such a good feeling about the company that I really wanted to work hard for this company and try my best. And I think that I've never met such a great boss as this guy.
No, I think that's true. Definitely, if you have a boss that's encouraging and motivating like that, it makes you work harder and makes you feel part of a really special team. And that's something we can all agree on, and I'm sure all our managers out there do the same. Well, you know what? I hope some of our listeners log on to our website and maybe they can tell us some experiences with bad managers or good managers, or if they are managers, how they handle things.
Yeah, and hopefully they can use some of these great phrases that we talked about today.
Great. So be sure, everyone, to visit our website at englishpod.com, and where you can find a lot of other information and really good resources to continue improving your English.
That's right. So thanks for listening today, everyone. And until next time, this is goodbye.
Bye.
The second paragraph of the dialogue.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
I'm excited for this one.
Me too. I think this is going to be really useful for our listeners.
Yeah.
Especially if they're, working in business or hoping to work in business.
Yeah, if they're looking to, level up their business English skills.
Exactly.
I think we've got some really good stuff to share today.
Yeah, we got some really interesting source material for this deep dive.
You do.
We're going to be looking at some dialogues between managers and employees, focusing on sales strategies.
Yeah, how to drive sales.
How to drive sales.
Using effective communication.
Yes, and we'll be sort of picking apart the language.
That's right.
That they use and seeing, what works, what doesn't work.
Exactly, and some of the things to maybe avoid.
Yeah, for sure. And some of the things to, try to emulate.
Yeah, yeah.
So the scenario that we have in our source material today is a sales team meeting. And they are trying to figure out how to increase sales.
It's a tough one.
Because they are currently the most expensive option in the market.
Oof, that's a tough place to be.
Yeah, so that's kind of the challenge that they're facing.
For sure.
So right off the bat, we see this phrase, drive sales.
Drive sales.
I feel like that's such a common phrase in the business world, but can you
Vocabulary
break that down
preview.
for us?
Sure, yeah. So, literally it just means, to increase sales figures.
Yeah.
To sell more, but it's, it implies a certain level of intentionality and strategy.
Right.
It's not just about, hoping that people buy your product. It's about actually having a plan to make that happen.
Right, so it's like a verb.
Exactly.
It's an active thing.
Yeah, it's about taking action to make those sales happen.
Okay, so they're trying to drive sales.
Yes.
What are some of the things they come up with?
Well, one of the ideas that comes up is the idea of a promotion.
Okay, so when we say promotion in this context, what exactly do we mean?
So in this case, a promotion refers to like a specific marketing tactic designed to attract customers and boost sales. So,
like a sale.
A sale, exactly, like buy one, get one free.
Right.
Or maybe a discount or a special bundle, something like that.
Got it. So they're thinking about doing some kind of promotion.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have two employees, Roger and Natalie, and they're talking to their manager, Clark.
Okay.
And I'm really curious to see how this plays out.
Me too.
So let's listen in.
Okay, let's do it. So Roger's like, okay, so we're the most expensive in the market.
Yeah.
Maybe we should think about matching the competitors.
That's the competitors.
Yeah. What do you think that means?
I guess it means like looking at what other companies are charging for similar products or services.
Right, and then adjusting your prices.
So that you're not like way more expensive.
Right, you want to be competitive.
Okay.
So he's suggesting they adjust their pricing strategy to match the competitors, and he uses the phrase in the market.
Right.
Which is a common way to refer to your industry or your specific niche. So like if you're in the tech market, you're competing with other tech companies.
Got it. So in the market
Dialogue.
means like within that particular industry.
Space. Yeah.
Okay, but Clark is like not having it.
No. He's like, no way, Swan will never go for that.
He says it'll never fly.
It'll never fly.
What does that mean?
It's an idiom.
Okay.
That means like it's not going to happen.
Okay.
The idea's been rejected.
So it's like dead in the water.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not going to take off.
So Roger's idea is a no-go.
Pretty much, yeah. And then Natalie chimes in. She's like, well, maybe we could run a promotion.
Okay.
Like a buy one, get one free or something.
A classic.
Yeah. But Clark shoots that down, too.
What does he say?
He's like, bad idea. Really bad idea.
Ouch.
Yeah. Not very encouraging.
No, not at all.
It's like he's not even open to hearing their ideas.
Right. It seems like he's already made up his mind.
Yeah. And it creates this kind of negative atmosphere.
Yeah, you can almost feel the energy draining from the room.
Totally. And then suddenly,
Plot twist.
Mr. Swan walks in.
Dun, dun, dun.
The CEO.
And everything changes.
Everything changes. Clark does a complete 180.
It's like he's a different person.
Right. Suddenly he's all smiles and he's like, oh, promotion. That sounds like something we should consider.
Something we should consider.
Yeah, it's a much more polite way of saying.
Like, we should think about that.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds more.
More professional.
Yeah, more considered.
Okay, so he's suddenly on board with the promotion idea.
Yeah, which is interesting because he just rejected it like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I wonder if he really believes it or if he's just trying to...
Yeah, impress Swan.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but it's definitely a shift in his language and his tone.
It's like night and day.
Totally. And remember how he used the word brilliant earlier?
To shut down Natalie's idea?
Yeah, he was like, brilliant, Natalie. What a brilliant idea.
Totally sarcastic.
Yeah, but now he uses the same word to praise the idea.
Wow. So he's using the same word, but with a completely different...
Yeah, it's all about context.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost comical.
It is, yeah. It's like a masterclass in how to be a bad manager.
Yeah, like how to not manage a team.
Right, exactly. It shows what not to do.
But I think there's some good takeaways here too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can all learn from Clark's mistakes.
Okay, so what are some of the key things that our listeners should be thinking about?
Well, I think the biggest one is just to be mindful of your language.
Yeah, words have power, right?
They really do. They can have a huge impact on people.
Especially in a work environment.
Yeah, where people are already feeling stressed and under pressure.
So like Clark's negativity was just making things worse.
Exactly. It was like sucking the life out of the room.
Okay, so what's the antidote to that?
Well, positivity, of course.
Other
Okay,
examples?
but like how do you do that practically?
I think it starts with just being aware of your own communication style.
Okay.
Are you the kind of person who tends to be negative or critical?
Or are you more encouraging and supportive?
Right. And if you're not sure, ask for feedback from your colleagues.
That's a good idea.
And then once you're aware of your own tendencies, you can start to make changes.
Like consciously choosing to use more positive language.
Exactly. Like instead of saying, bad idea,
You could say,
that's an interesting thought, but I'm not sure it's quite right for this situation.
right, or I like where you're going with that, but maybe we could tweak it a bit.
Exactly. It's about framing your feedback in a way that's helpful and constructive.
And that doesn't make people feel like they're being attacked.
Right. Because when people feel safe to share their ideas,
They're more likely to come up with good ones.
absolutely. And that's what we want, right?
We want to create an environment where people feel empowered to think creatively and to contribute their best work.
Exactly. And that's what drives sales.
It all comes back to driving sales.
Oh, circle.
So for our listeners out there who are working on their business English,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways?
I think one of the big ones is just to remember that language is a tool.
Okay.
And like any tool, it can be used effectively or ineffectively.
So we need to learn how to use it wisely,
Exactly. And that takes practice.
but it's worth it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because effective communication is essential for success in any field,
Especially in business.
especially in business.
All right, so that's our deep dive into the language of sales strategies.
I hope you found it helpful.
I know I did.
Me too. It's always good to refresh our communication skills.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Bye, everyone.